3-octave scales. They're so fundamental to playing the violin. If you're not practicing your scales regularly, I'm sorry, you're going to really not improve as rapidly or not really stay in shape. I love to practice my scales. I enjoy it. It's very much like therapy for me. So before we get started on learning how to play a scale, please hit that subscribe button to be the first to know when I release my latest video. So often I teach at camps and so many students don't really understand how to play a scale properly and the actual fundamentals that really are so important within that scale. Scales also really help you kind of hear better and know those intervals properly. So we'll talk about the tuning of scales, but first let's just talk about physically how to go about playing a scale. I use the Carl Flesch system, it's one I've used, but Galamyan is acceptable as well. So I'm going to do a 3-octave scale like I did with 3 notes to a bow. So let's start with number 5 from the scale Flesch system, and that's the 3-octave scale. I play this 3 notes to a bow, and I try to make sure the bow distribution has it such that each note gets a third of the bow, okay, given that it's a triplet. So, okay, and use pretty much the whole bow. So as I start with the left hand, putting my second finger on C natural, I make sure that the third and fourth finger are above the D and E natural respectively, okay? So that all I need to do is drop the finger on the note. So what I'm doing is widening these joints and making sure these notes are right over the string, keeping the hand very open. I don't want in any way to reach for the notes or do anything extra or inefficient. After having played those 3 notes, I'm already presetting this first finger on the D string with the first finger. And I'm already thinking of that string crossing, dropping the bow ever so gradually. So as I get to that F natural, the bow, the finger, everything is ready to go. After that, I'm doing the same thing, having this hand nice and wide, the fingers preset over the next 3 or 4 notes. You can see the hand is nice and wide. Then I'm doing the same thing for the C natural, and then we come to this first shift. With this shift, I really want to make sure I'm shifting with the bow and I'm timing the shift properly with my first and second finger. I'm doing a nice block shift, moving the second finger out of the way with my first finger. And I get a nice clean shift. Make sure you don't change the bow at the wrong time. Make sure you change the bow as soon as the first finger arrives on the E natural. Okay? A lot of times students kind of move the hand, left hand, sort of in a different kind of time. I want everything to move very naturally and organically together. So, okay? Then moving on, all the same sort of fundamentals apply. And the same fundamentals apply for this shift. Okay? And as I go up the fingerboard, I really want to make sure I keep this shape of my hand and maintain it properly so that I don't have to do anything of changing the angle of this hand. I really do make sure that the hand detaches from the fingerboard once I go to 4th position, okay? And then the hand sort of elevates as I go up into the higher position. All the while I'm keeping these fingers down so that when I'm descending down, the fingers are already preset and they are where they need to be. Then starting with these last 2 shifts with the down bow and the A natural, I'm really gracefully shifting up into those high positions. Coming down, these fingers are preset. Again, making sure I'm doing good bow distribution with the bow. And then coming down this shift is so important. Use the first finger guide note and go to C natural. Then drop the second and third finger on D natural and E natural respectively. Let me do it again. Okay, and you can see I do it very slowly. It's so important that you not rush this with the left hand. Too often, students really kind of move the left hand without any kind of coordination with the right hand. They should always be moving together. And then do the same thing with this next shift. Okay? I'm being very, very, again, deliberate, and you hear the shift. Eventually, I will lighten that first finger so as to mask the shift. So here's what it would sound like in the final product. Very light. You don't hear the shift whatsoever. Then going on, I'm really preparing these fourth fingers as I cross the string to really make sure that transition from F natural or G natural to F is really, really sort of smooth and sort of unnoticeable. Same thing here. Okay, so important to kind of keep this very smooth and very easy. Now, as far as the tuning is concerned, I oftentimes use a tuner and really so as to floss my ears out. So I will put my tuner on, let's say, a C natural. Then listening to this tuner, I practice what I call twos and threes, playing two notes, and then three notes. Okay, and I listen to these interval changes and articulations with the fingers to make sure that it's very clear, very primary colors in terms of the intervals. Okay? So it's very, very clear. There's no doubt about those healthy whole steps. Then I'll start on the D natural and do twos and threes. All the while, I'm really keeping a good ear on the tuner and making sure it's really in tune with the tuner. And then, same thing, start on E. Okay? Eventually, then I will kind of do threes and fours. And then same thing. Building this one note at a time so that I get to the highest C natural, all the while listening to the tuner really, really carefully and making sure that it's absolutely in tune. So many students don't floss out their ears each and every day listening to the tuner to make sure these scales are impeccable and really spot on. When using a tuner, not only do I put it on the first note of the scale C, but I also put it on the dominant, the fifth note of the scale G. And I will do my scales listening to that note as well. Okay? So, same idea. Just to give you another sort of note to listen to compare and contrast the notes of your scale. Once you can do it slowly, 3 notes to a bow, build up speed, maybe do more notes to a bow or do different bowings. It's always good to kind of mix it up. The Flesch system has these things already sort of in the book, so pay attention to those. You can do the different rhythms with the same key and mix and match all that stuff. It's very good and very good to do each and every day. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section below. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I love scales. I hope you start to love scales as well. They're like therapy to me and they're so valuable.